In an effort to stem the note bleed, as it's being called, Samsung is now offering $100 to any U.S. customer who returns their Galaxy Note 7 as the phone recalled after catching fire in people's hands or exploding on flights. T-Mobile USA is doing its part, encouraging owners to bring in the phone along with any accessories to any T-Mobile store for a full refund plus a $25 credit. Speaking of T-Mobile, its always outspoken CEO hit a major social media milestone this month. His Twitter account now has more than 3 million followers. Putting it into perspective, that's more than Berkshire Hathaway billionaire Warren Buffett, who has 1.2 million. But guess what? He's definitely got more than Sprint CEO Marcelo Claure, his rival, who has just about 136,000. Well, that's more than I, but John, wow. Joining me in a Fox Business exclusive, the CEO of T-Mobile USA, Mr. John Legere. 3 million, that's a big mark on Twitter. And why do we make a big deal of that? Because a lot of CEOs don't have anywhere near that. But to what do you attribute that and what it does for you and your voice and your customers?
Well, Liz, you cut out in the whole middle of that question, but I think I got the gist of what you're saying. And I want to do a couple things. Yes, I did hit 3 million. I think I'm about 3.1 million followers now. And I would say that Twitter has been, amongst other social media, pinnacle in the way that I run T-Mobile. It's so much about how we drive the brand, how we listen to customers, ideas for innovation, how we interact with employees. And by the way, it's not just the 3 million followers I have, it's the breadth and depth. You know, I've got many followers like Ariana Grande with 42 million followers, Gordon Ramsay, Mark Cuban, Liz Clayman, Oprah Winfrey, and, you know, and so the reach is huge. And I would say that, you know, I'll go out on a limb here. I would say I don't think the world gets what a great tool Twitter is, and certainly this period of time when Twitter's been under focus. Yeah. I think Twitter is one of the most powerful possible platforms if people understand how to create it in a way that drives value for them, and certainly we at T-Mobile have.
You should buy it. Boy, you certainly just spoke very nicely toward its positives here. Look, I want to get to the Samsung Galaxy Note 7 debacle. Have you had a lot of returns? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm getting every other word, Liz, but you know, I know the topic you're on, okay. So let's try to amble on.
Yeah, the Galaxy Note 7 and the returns that have been coming in. Number one, in what numbers are they coming in? We already talked about the refund that you're giving people, but also whether it meaningfully hurts your bottom line for the quarter or any kind of adjustment like that.
Yeah. And again, and I'll apologize to you, Liz, because I know the topic. I couldn't hear the question. Let me just say a couple of things. That the Note 7 and the Samsung recall issue is a major, major event. And I think what we did is we led the way in being sure that we err on the side of safety for our customers. Samsung has now certainly ceased production. And what I would say is about Samsung, Samsung's a great company with a great following. And if you're going to recover from this, the first steps they're taking are the right steps, is to go err on the side of customer, get the devices in, give full optionality to all of your customers. And they've come forward now with an extra incentive to have Samsung customers switch to another Samsung device, which is $75 credit from them and 25% off the bill. Right. And I'd also just say, Liz, there's a lot of other great devices out there as well that customers can choose, not just the iPhone 7, the LG V20, and then you know, the Google Pixel, which I've got one here, which works perfectly beautifully on the T-Mobile network.
So it's not just Verizon. You know, Verizon says that you can, I think people are confused that they can only exclusively get the Pixel there. You've got one in your hand. I'm assuming you sell them. How are sales of the Pixel?
I do have one right here. Yeah. And let me say something about the Google Pixel. So Verizon is the exclusive distributor, i.e. like what AT&T did with the Amazon Fire Phone, which really worked out so well. But I would say Google was smart enough that they've created the opportunity for customers to buy the device direct from Google and use it on whatever network you want. It works beautifully on the T-Mobile network. But exclusivity is another of the crazy 1990s things that Verizon did, you know, like buying iconic internet companies of the 90s and then attempting to do these. Wow. But no, it's a great option, and if people like the Google device, come on, bring it over to T-Mobile.
Yeah, you're making a reference to them buying part of Yahoo, which has turned out to be a problem considering Yahoo endured that hack. There's actually some news about that. It sounds like they want a discount, John, on Yahoo, because those are markedly important developments, certainly. But let me just quickly ask you about the iPhone 7 and those sales. This Galaxy Note disaster certainly helps Apple and maybe even Pixel, but are there favorite aspects of the iPhone 7? I mean, look, everybody talked about the waterproof part, but that kind of balances out with the AirPods that people aren't so thrilled about. I mean, have you thrown one into the water? What are you doing? Have you tested the AirPods? How do you feel about the 7?
You know, this could be a new party game, Liz, where I have to guess the question that you're asking.
So sorry.
And if it was anybody else except you.
I am so sorry.
But I do understand the topic about iPhone 7, and let me just make a comment or two about iPhone 7, which is, the iPhone 7 launch was by far the most historic iPhone launch ever at T-Mobile. And on the first day of the launch, we actually had our biggest device sale day ever.
Wow.
Now, I wouldn't correlate, an inverse correlation between the issues Samsung is facing to an Apple upside. There's a lot of people that are very committed to the Android platform, and they got optionality. And it's too early for us to know what on recall number 2 Note 7 users are going to do.
Okay.
But I would just say, on the side, without the issue of Samsung, the Apple iPhone 7, I believe, is a historically successful device in and of itself. Supply's getting better, and demand of that device on our customers has been historic. And I think just on that, Apple's stock and strength should be supported. So.
Right, and you're pretty agnostic. You want everybody to do well because you sell everybody. I hope you hear what I'm about to say. Since you took over in September of 2012, that stock is up about 650% for T-Mobile. So you're doing something right, Mr. Ledger. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry about what we call the IFB problems. We all have these earpieces here, and sometimes they function, sometimes they don't. But I think we got through it. John, thank you, and congrats on your 3 million plus Twitter followers.
Yeah. And Liz, congratulations on all your success. And for anybody else, I would have claimed I couldn't hear, but I think we communicate well enough that I hope we got the major questions in.
We did. John Ledger, T-Mobile.